This story in the Mahabharata will give us a romantic K-drama vibe. It starts off sweet but soon takes a dramatic and cruel turn. Still, you are going to love it because it's interesting and cute. This episode brings us some amazing characters like the Rakshasa Guru Shukracharya and his daughter Devyani, and the plot even more exciting. Life is unpredictable, and Devyani is no different. She falls in love with their rival, Kacha, the son of Devata's guru. You might be already imagining a traditional love story, two people in love and parents opposing them. But this is not that kind of story. In fact, I felt like their minds were much more progressive and mature than ours today. So, what was the problem then? You will have to watch till the end to find out. For now, let's dive into this cute yet cruel story. Namaskaram everyone, I am Visalakshi, a passionate storyteller and an aspiring writer. I started my storytelling journey with my favorite epic Mahabharat. I am doing my best to bring the story to life in an engaging way. So I hope you enjoy it, immerse in Mahabharat world and uncover the wisdom it holds. Let's share the richness of Indian stories with the world. The Devatas and Asuras used to fight constantly for power and control over Swarg, heaven. Of course, the Devatas were extremely powerful. They had divine astras, celestial weapons, and the support of gods. But we can't underestimate the Asuras either. They were strong and resilient. No matter how many times they lost, they always used to come back with a new plan and strategy, just like the villains in TV serials. But what really troubled the Devatas this time was Shukracharya, the guru of the Asuras. He had mastered the Sanjeevani Vidya, the knowledge of reviving the dead, which allowed him to heal the injured Asuras and even bring the dead back to life. This led to a never ending war. Both sides fought fiercely, but no matter how many Asuras the Devatas managed to kill or injure, they would return alive the next day. Since no one among Devatas knew Sanjeevani Vidya, their numbers kept decreasing. Realizing that continuing the war was pointless, the Devatas stepped back and gathered up to come up with a new plan. Their solution was Kacha. He was a calm, humble, and charming young man, the son of Devata's guru Brihaspati. Kacha went on a mission to learn Sanjeevani Vidya from Shukracharya. Now, Shukracharya was not a kid to just hand over his greatest secret to his rivals. He was a wise and powerful guru, the master of immense knowledge, blessed with Sanjeevani Vidya after performing intense tapasya to Lord Shiva. Back then, he was the only one who knew this Sanjeevani Vidya. So, literally, it was an impossible task for Kacha. But if the Devatas trusted him with this mission, then he must have been capable of achieving it. Let's see how he does. Kacha went to Vrishaparva's kingdom where Shukracharya was living with his beloved daughter Devyani. To the world, he was a tactful strategist, the most respected, a powerful and inspiring personality. But at his core, he was just a compassionate and selfless father. His daughter was his whole world. She meant everything to him. Shukracharya, who feared none and could fight anyone, couldn't even bear the thought of his daughter being sad. Even for Devyani, her father was everything. She looked up to him with pride, believing there was nothing he couldn't do. She loved him, respected him more than anyone else. However, that boundless love also made her adamant. She never compromised or hesitated. She acted straight from her heart without worrying about anything else. If she wanted something, she had to have it. That's just how she was, stubborn and strong willed. But even this stubborn girl became a hopeless romantic. Kacha arrived at Shukracharya's ashram and humbly joined his hands in Namaste and said, "It is an honor to meet you, Acharya. I have heard a lot about your power, wisdom, and skill. I wish to become your disciple." Shukracharya was a bit surprised by the sudden appearance of this charming young man. His words and well mannered behavior were already impressive. Yet, the Guru asked, "Who are you, my son?" Kacha introduced himself as the son of Brihaspati. Now, his honesty was impressive, no doubt. But think about it. Who would accept a rival son as a disciple, right? If we were in his place, even we would be suspicious and send him back. But unlike us, Shukracharya was pleased. Although they were rivals, both the gurus had great respect for each other. And now, Kacha, the son of Bruhaspati, a man known for his wisdom, had come to Shukracharya seeking to be his disciple. So Shukracharya felt honored, seeing this as a validation for his teachings. And without hesitation, he accepted Kacha as his Sishya. But the Asuras doubted this decision. And even you might think it was a wrong and risky step. Maybe we view it as a mistake since he accepted a rival's son without any suspicion. But it wasn't a foolish decision or taken just because of a few kind words. Shukracharya was a true guru who valued his duty above all. He believed that knowledge should be shared with those who genuinely seek it, regardless of where they came from. Also, just accepting him as a disciple doesn't mean that he had to reveal his secrets, right? Even Kacha was honest and loyal. He followed all of his guru's orders and served him with great respect. In ancient times, Indians followed the Gurukul system, a residential form of education where learned rishis admitted students and taught them various skills, including the shastras, weaponry, as well as the soft skills like discipline, teamwork, and leadership skills. Gurus and their families lived in ashrams, often deep within the forests, dedicating their lives to knowledge and their students. The Guru's wife, known as Guru Mata, also played a vital role in taking care of the students, treating them as her own children. In return, students were expected to serve their Guru and Guru Mata by assisting with daily tasks like grazing cattle, collecting firewood, and maintaining the ashram. A student, regardless of their background, would leave their home and live with their guru, dedicating years to learning and serving with discipline. Education in Gurukul was not just about acquiring knowledge, but also about building character and understanding values. There's so much more to it. But for now, let's continue with our story. However, do comment your thoughts and share any knowledge you have about this ancient schooling system. The moment Devyani saw Kacha, she knew she had fallen for him. His voice, the way he spoke with grace, the deep respect he showed her father, and the gentle way he treated both of them. It all made her heart flutter. Putting her ego aside, she shamelessly wandered around him. After all, to win in love and life, you have to be a little shameless, right? If he was busy with chores, she would find a way to help. If he was out grazing the cattle, she would walk beside him. Lost in conversation, sharing every little thought in her heart, she never missed a chance to steal glances at him, to admire the way he smiled, the way he carried himself. She was hopelessly, helplessly in love. At the other end, this guy was like an obedient teacher's pet in the class, always focused on fulfilling his duties as Adarsha Sishya. This innocent soul had no clue about her feelings for him. However, he did admire her. After all, she was the only one apart from his guru who treated him well. So he would listen to her, help her when needed, and treat her well. But beyond that, Kacha was an innocent, calm, humble, and a little boring guy who seemed to be uninterested in anything other than his guru's orders. Whereas Devyani was a bright, chaotic girl who was only interested in him. Anyone who saw them together could tell she was head over heels for him. But only the gods knew when he would finally understand her feelings. Meanwhile, this hopeless romantic continued loving him unconditionally, wandering around him as if his mere presence was enough to make her life complete. Meanwhile, the Asuras were waiting for a chance to kill him. They had been hating him from the moment he came. They believed that he must be here with some intent. As they cannot change their guru's mind, they decided to kill him. It should have been an easy task for them, but there was only one problem: Devyani. She barely left Kacha's side, making it nearly impossible to get him. The Asuras patiently waited for the right time. One day, When Kacha went to the forest alone with the cattle, since Devyani was unwell and couldn't join him, they finally got their chance. They killed him ruthlessly. Meanwhile, Devyani, who couldn't bear to be away from him, was eagerly waiting for his return. But when the cows came back crying, her heart sank. Fear gripped her as she saw their tear filled eyes. Her face turned pale. She immediately understood that something was wrong. Panic took over as she ran to her father, tears streaming down her face. Shukracharya's heart sank, seeing his daughter in such agony. He rushed to her and asked, "What happened, Putri?" Through her sobs, Devyani said, "Kacha has not returned yet. The cattle came back crying, but he's nowhere to be seen. Something must have happened to him, father. Please save him. I can't live without him." Seeing his bright, cheerful daughter in such a state shattered Shukracharya's heart. He had never seen her like this before. Without a second thought, he used Divya Drishti. It's a spiritual ability that allows one to see beyond the physical world. With this power, a person can perceive distant events, look into the past or future, and gain deeper insights into reality. It is often attained through the deep meditation and spiritual practices. So Shukracharya used Divya Drishti to find out what had happened to Kacha. What he saw filled him with sorrow. Turning to Devyani, he told her the painful truth. She had already feared the worst. Holding back her tears, she pleaded, "Father, please use Sanjeevani Vidya and bring him back to life." Without hesitation, Shukracharya summoned his powers and revived Kacha. The Asuras were furious and waited for another chance. Meanwhile, Devyani became even more protective of Kacha, never letting him out of sight. After a long time, the Asuras finally got another opportunity. This time, they were extra cautious and came up with a brutally clever plan. When Kacha didn't return to the ashram, a worried Devyani ran to her father, crying. However, Shukracharya was drunk and out of his senses. Desperately, she pleaded, "Father, Kacha has not come back. I'm afraid the Asuras might have done something. Please do something. Save Kacha." Shukracharya, still not in his senses, sighed and said, "Amma, why are you worrying so much about that Kacha? The Asuras might have killed him. They were never going to let him leave anyway. Stop thinking about him." Devyani was stunned and disgusted by her father's words. Her voice rose as she declared, "Until Kacha comes back, I won't touch a single drop of water. And if he's dead, then I will die too." Hearing this, Shukracharya snapped out of his drunken state, felt ashamed of what he had just said. Immediately, Shukracharya used his Divya Drishti to search for Kacha, but he couldn't find him anywhere in the 14 lokas. In Hinduism, the 14 lokas are different worlds that make up the universe. The 7 higher lokas are home to gods and celestial beings, while the 7 lower lokas are where asuras and other beings reside. These lokas represent different planes of existence, ranging from the heavens to the underworld. For example, we live in Bhulok, Earth. Brahma resides in Satyalok, and the Devatas dwell in Swargalok. Nagas live in Patal-lok. Coming back, Devyani desperately pleaded, "Father, please look again. He has to be somewhere in this universe, right?" Realizing the urgency, Shukracharya composed himself and carried out a more thorough search. Suddenly, he froze, his face filled with shock and fear. Seeing his expression, Devyani grew even more anxious and begged him to speak. Shukracharya trembled, his eyes welling up with tears, disgusted with himself. The Asuras had burned Kacha, mixed his ash into a drink, and made Shukracharya consume it. Realizing this, left both of them shaken. This was a heartbreaking moment for Devyani. She cried, "I can't live without Kacha. But if you bring him back to life, you won't survive. I can't live without you either." Tears streamed down her face as she broke down, unsure of what to do. Seeing his daughter in that state and realizing what he had done, his heart sank with sorrow and guilt. He swore off alcohol forever and declared, "Whoever consumes this poison shall lose their wisdom and destroy themselves." Just then, Devyani came up with an idea. Following her suggestion, Shukracharya used Sanjeevani Vidya to bring back Kacha to life and transferred his knowledge of Sanjeevani Vidya to him to his divine powers. Kacha then tore through Shukracharya's stomach to come out and immediately revived him using the Sanjeevani Vidya he had just learned. Everyone sighed in relief as they finally escaped the disaster. Kacha had never schemed or planned anything. He had simply served his guru with utmost respect and sincerity for years. But at this moment, everything had fallen into place and his mission was complete. Yet, he continued to serve his guru with the same dedication for several more years before finally deciding to leave one day. He took blessings from his guru and went to meet Devyani to say goodbye. She was shocked and stood speechless. Gathering strength, she said, "Don't you know how I feel about you? I have been loving you and caring you more than anyone. I have already considered you my husband. How could you do this to me?" She continued, "You were a disciple focused on your learning, so I didn't want to be a distraction. Which is why I never expressed my feelings clearly before. But now that you know at least, accept me." Kacha was stunned and had not expected this at all. After a brief silence, he said, "You are my guru's daughter. I respect and admire you. But how could I? No, this is not right. You have been a great companion throughout my journey, and I'm grateful for that." Devyani said, "I saved you twice and have loved you so much. Please don't break my heart." Kacha felt uneasy hearing this and replied, "When you saved me the second time, I was reborn from your father. That makes you like a sister to me. So please let me go." With that, he turned to leave. Devyani felt disgusted and cursed him, saying, "The Sanjeevani Vidya you learned from my father is not going to work for you." Kacha felt furious and cursed her back, saying, "This Vidya might not work for me, but I can share it with others anyways. However, what you did was wrong. Even you would face bad time in your married life," and left. So, I know Devyani truly loved and admired Kacha with all her heart, putting aside her ego. However, fate can be cruel sometimes, and no matter how much we care for someone, they may not feel the same way about us. It's painful, but we must respect their feelings, whether they are male or female. Holding grudges, seeking revenge, or causing trouble will only bring more pain to both. Rejection is heartbreaking, especially when we have loved, cared for, and supported someone wholeheartedly. But instead of clinging to what's not meant to be, we need to accept and move on. The right person will come into our lives at the right time. Though it must have been extremely difficult for Devyani, the way she handled rejection was not right, and it led to the misery in her life. But that's not the end of the story. She is going to find and marry the love of her life. In the next episode, let's see how Devyani's life takes a new turn from finding love to playing a role in the birth of the great Kuru Vamsh and Yadava Vamsh. So, how did you like the episode? And which part of the story you liked the most? Let me know in the comment section. Subscribe to the Visalakshi for captivating stories from the Mahabharata and beyond, because every tale has wisdom, wonder, and a connection to our roots waiting to be discovered.